broadcasting live from Carborough, North Carolina, and streaming worldwide at WCOMFM.org. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Martini Mondays, shaking it up with Ruby Martini.
And Magnolia Steele.
Hey, everybody. Ooh, we are excited to invite you to our audio stage where we flirt with vintage and contemporary burlesque, ponder random points of interest, and have engaging conversation with our guests. Our guest this evening is Julie Bergman of the Gecko Ranch. Julie will join us in just a few minutes. Magnolia, it is so good to lay eyes on you.
Ruby, it's wonderful to be here. I had to hustle to get here, and honestly, I thought I was going to be late.
Do tell, Magnolia.
Well, Ruby, I was on my way here doing fine on time when off in the distance in front of me there was this really cool red vintage Jeep. It was kind of puttering just below the speed limit, chilling, taking its time on 2 lanes, and I can't even tell you what type of Jeep it was other than it was old and cool. One with no lids and, no sides on them and, the classic. Anyway, Ruby, all those cars were passing, slowing down for some reason. Soon it was my turn to pass, and there I saw it, the bumper sticker. It said, "My dog is cute, but I raise tiny dinosaurs."
Oh.
Now, did those people pass and honestly think they were going to see a bunch of teeny-beady little dinosaurs climbing around on that Jeep? Of course, I had to look, Ruby. That driver was smiling so big and obviously having a great day, but not a one of those teeny-beady dinosaurs anywhere.
My goodness, Magnolia. Thank goodness those little tiny dinies are not extinct. And I'm so relieved that you made it on time. So let's take a moment real quick to give a nod to our underwriters. Huge thanks to Double Martini Productions, your local nonprofit performing arts collaborative, with a big announcement. Their monthly fundraisers are back on the calendar. An afternoon of vaudeville art every second Saturday of the month. Join in on Saturday, July 11th. Are you a local artist? Come draw with us. This is a live model event with vaudeville, burlesque, and vintage pinup style costumes and 9 drawing segments. Just bring your drawing supplies and there's plenty of room for easels. 100% of your donations support 2 local nonprofits. For details and to register, go to doublemartini.org and select Art Drawing Events.
Cat Moves Travel and Studio, delivering award-winning dance and fitness coaching and training to you at your location at your convenience. Join in every Tuesday for a free community line dance, 6 to 7 at 129 East King Street in Carborough, in Hillsborough. Find out more at catmoves.me. That's cat with a K, catmoves.me. Boy, I'm running the baguette today. And perfect time celebrations, providing a wide variety of officiate services with a budget-friendly rates to help you keep your wedding and your renewal vows stress-free. Find them on their Facebook. Search PT Celebrations.
And sold by Amanda T. Amanda Turner is a realtor with eXp Realty, serving the triad, the triangle, and all points in between. Her specialty is concierge-styled customized service tailored to her clients' needs. Check out her website, soldbyamandat.com.
All of our underwriters are linked to our Facebook page.
And you can find us on Facebook by searching
WCOMRuby.
And you too can become an underwriter of our broadcast. Hop on over to that Facebook page and send us a message.
Ooh, Ruby, that sounds like a good lead-in to our Back in Time burlesque segment.
Magnolia, that's a great idea. Let's do it. Our weekly segment of Back in Time Burlesque teases the vintage era of burlesque. Today, we're going to honor an iconic family of performance stages, the Minskys.
We talked about the Minskys before.
And not only famous, but infamous.
Ooh.
The history of the Minsky brothers is rather complex, yet one with a simple goal. Affordable burlesque for all the people. The Minsky brothers are Abe, Billy, Herbert, and Morton. And they were gifted a building by their father, the National Winter Garden. There was already a theater located there, but it was up on the 6th floor. And it was a challenge to entice their guests to come up 6 flights. A walk up.
That's
6
for sure.
flights.
Yeah. The brothers considered and failed numerous styles of entertainment and decided to look into burlesque. At the time, there were several wheels of burlesque entertainers, and that is what they tapped into. Wheels traveled and provided their own entertainers, costumes, scenery, and support team. The brothers provided show promotions and the stage.
After a trip to Paris, one of the Minsky brothers added a runway to their stage, and it was a huge success. The burlesque dancers were able to walk into the audiences, increasing the popularity of the Minsky's productions. Theirs was the first runway theater in the entirety of the United States. Over the years, the Minsky brothers expanded into numerous locations and brought scandal every town they landed in.
There is an interesting tidbit. The Minskys took their stage to Las Vegas at the Dunes Hotel in the late 1950s, and they are credited with creating, I feel like putting my hand over my mouth. Ooh, a topless showgirl. Ooh, is it true?
Yes, because it still continues to this day, and we can attribute that to the Minsky brothers.
I was wondering if they were arrested.
Well, I'm sure they probably were, and there were so many arrests that I tried to find out precisely how many arrests were made, and even that little grokky AI assistant thing that you don't want to pop up on your Google, pops up on your Google, couldn't determine. It just said many arrests were made.
So too many to count.
Absolutely.
Numerous.
I think that is fair. So it would take hours for us to even scratch the surface into Minsky's, but to say that they were raided, not rated with a T, but raided with a D, would be an understatement. The most notorious raid was in New York in 1937 when a dancer took off her G-string. Ooh. So scandalous.
Yes, there is so much history associated with the brothers that we are hoping that you will be willing to take a deep dive, willing and able to take that deep dive of their contribution to the art of burlesque and the sassy scandals that they seem to follow them. Wow, girl.
I know. And the beauty of the Minskys is that the next generation continued with the theaters and the burlesque. So, they really had a legacy thing going on. Dear gentle readers, it is time now for us to introduce our guest, Julie Bergman. Julie is a California girl, born in San Diego, then moving to Northern California after that to the San Fernando Valley, where she is a true Valley girl. Julie attended California State State University, after which she found a path that guided her to breeding geckos. Julie is a breeder, an author, and a speaker. She is also a Jeep enthusiast and a road course racer. Julie moved to North Carolina in 2013 and brought her passions with her: geckos, Jeeps, kitties, and racing. Our episode today is titled Leopard, Skunk, Gargoyle, and more. Julie, welcome to our audio stage.
Thank you. My honor to be here.
That's wonderful to have you here. So one of the things that we do before we begin our actual conversation is to manifest a moment with Magnolia. And this is our weekly segment when we ask our guest to select a card, and Magnolia interprets that affirmation. And so, Julie, we have asked you to select a card from our favorite cards. And our favorite cards are these are sinister affirmations for formidable women. And we would love for you to read the card to us.
Okay. People will always tell you what you can't do. You can't move to a forgotten ghost town to study the dark arts. You can't enthrall a horde of undead scorpions. I could. You can't open a portal to the netherworld in an abandoned quarry. Ignore those people. You don't need their negativity. I agree with that.
Oh, my goodness. So I want to ask a real quick favor. Can we ask you to slide over to the other mic, because I'm not getting any feed?
Here, I want her to talk again.
You want to talk again? Okay, talk again where you were, Julie. We're just going to play ping pong with you. And give it a try again. Magnolia's on it.
Okay. People will always tell you what you can't do.
Okay, let's try the other one. Dear gentle readers, sometimes we have a little snafu that happens.
Now say.
Now say.
People will always tell you what you can't do.
Okay, try again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G?
Well, for some reason, I'm not getting a read.
I'm not either.
Okay.
Is she reading on the thing?
Mm-mm. But all of ours are coming in a little bit low. Why don't we do this? Is there a way that we can maybe jiggle that a little and see? Try again, Julie.
Well, 3
Hold on.
headphones are not.
Try again.
Okay.
We got you.
People will always tell you what you can't do. You can't move to a forgotten ghost town to study the dark arts. You can't enthrall a horde of undead scorpions, although I could.
Yes, you can.
You can't open a portal to the netherworld in an abandoned quarry. Ignore those people. You don't need their negativity.
And that seems to be that card shows itself pretty. I think that might be the second or third time that card has come up.
And the tarantula one.
And the tarantula one, but wait, wasn't that tarantulas?
No, that was scorpions.
Scorpions. Well, nonetheless, Julie can deal with scorpions. So we got
to take a deep breath first.
We're just going to set that intention.
Yes, we can intend that she can do those things.
Okay, that's the intention. Julie, you are the queen of the scorpions. Let's all take that
deep
breath in. Make sure you breathe out. Breathing out's just as important.
Okay.
All right. So here we roll. Let's begin at the beginning. For Julie, we would love for you to share with our listeners where they can find you online, the name of your business, where they can find you online, and any upcoming events that you may have.
Okay. We have events here. Let's see, GeckoRanch.com is my primary website. I also have another website, LeopardGecko.com, and that focuses only on leopard geckos. GeckoRanch.com focuses on a lot more. So you can go to either of those websites. I have the Repticon Raleigh at the North NC State Fairgrounds, August 8th through 9th. November 28th to 29th, which is Thanksgiving weekend. So please come out and Bring your friends. And then in September, we have the All-American Reptile Plant Expo, the AAPRE, September 20th through September 18th through 20th. So they have like a Friday through Sunday thing on that one. And so you can also find us on Facebook. Gecko Ranch has a page on Facebook. It's Gecko Ranch LLC. And I can see you by appointment at the shop. It is not a traditional retail shop.
Okay.
But
Yes.
we will take care of you.
Perfect. I'm glad you mentioned that because that was something in our points here that we were going to ask if you could do by appointment at your storefront.
Absolutely.
Storefront's not really the right word, but I couldn't think what else to call your brick and mortar.
Yes, it's a breeding facility and it's set up as such.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right. So you shared with us that you are a huge supporter of following your instincts and reaching goals. I would love to learn your pathway into breeding geckos. When did you discover your love for them? And what did you do to launch yourself into that industry? It's all you.
Okay. So when I was little, I would chase little lizards around, mostly in Colorado, where I spent summers with my grandparents in Durango. So, and there we had the blue belly lizard, and then we also had the horny toad, which I'm not going to tell you the scientific names, but that's kind of boring. Anyway, so I was fascinated with these little mini dinosaurs, like on the Jeep. So it just kind of went naturally. Yeah, and I decided to start keeping them, and I could keep them, but not snakes. But I didn't really want to keep snakes. I wanted to keep the geckos, or lizards.
Yeah.
So when I got older, I got more into geckos in particular. So geckos are very specialized lizards. They have special eyes, they have special feet, and they have special adaptations for wherever they live in the world, which is on everything but the polar hemisphere, polar caps. They don't live there, but they live pretty much everywhere else. So they are a successful group of reptiles.
And as that passion grew from youth to adulthood, how did you incorporate, did you always just jump right into that, or did you explore different avenues of income and do that on the side, or how did you transition to become like the queen of the geckos?
So I went to college, went to UC Davis, and there I was studying biological psychology, or what they now call neuroscience. It didn't really have that name back then. That's the study of what is going on in your brain and how, life and, chemicals and, different treatments and stuff affect your brain. So it was a pretty hard science, background for psychology. So, but I also still had the lizard interest, and at the university, the Northern California Herpetological Society met there. So I started going to meetings, and at that time they had the top people and some of the pioneers in the industry that would go to that, and they would have symposiums, and I spoke at a symposium at one point. I had a paper I did based on what keeping my geckos and stuff. But I got geckos from the local pet shop, or the hardware store that had a pet shop section. So I went in there and I saw a giant day gecko. It's beautiful green and red lizard from Madagascar, and they're anywhere from 9 to 12 inches long, depends on male or female. So I saw those and I was hooked. And so I started breeding those, and they're very prolific. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do with all these babies?
Oh, like bunnies, right? Like bunny babies. They just keep
exactly.
rolling in.
So I had about 50.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I go, well, I better, figure out something. So after all my friends had gotten one from me and all that, so there was a show circuit that went to the Cow Palace in San Francisco, which is, I love that place. It's more of a a rustic, fairgrounds type place, not real fancy, but everyone would come to that show from all kinds of cultural backgrounds and diversity, which was really neat. And it was neat to see people get into that, let's say they were an executive and they worked in a tall building in San Francisco and they would still come. Or they were a garbage collector and they still had little geckos, and now it's out of control. Everyone has a kid that wants a gecko, and the girls are really, really good at it.
Yeah.
So I like to encourage them, and it's the really nice thing about this is that in getting a pet like this, of course, you need to get the appropriate one for the age and wait till the right age and all that. But kids feel some self-reliance and self-respect, for being in charge of a small little life. Mm-hmm. So, it's a really great source of self-esteem, and I told that to the parents if I see them at the show and stuff like that. I go, oh, it's wonderful for them. And some kids are way ahead, in maturity, and those we get going on, probably sooner. But it's usually around 7 or 8 years old.
So after you had your experience with the 50, gotta do something, how long did it take before you then began to incorporate, make it official,
Well, not too long, because to do the show, to sell my geckos at the show, I had to become a business.
Oh, there you go.
So I became a business, and so that was in 93.
Yeah. Wow.
Her got pushed into the deep end of the pool.
You did get pushed into the deep, holding the geckos up so that they didn't have to go in with you. And my next point was going to be if someone was interested in visiting the Gecko Ranch in Alamance County, what are your hours? Do they need to make an appointment, etc.? So from what I understand, they can go to the website and put in a request for an appointment.
Yes, our Facebook page.
Okay, very
it's
good.
fine. And then they can text me, call me, however they want to do it.
All right. I love it.
She is well connected.
She is well connected.
Yeah, so visitors to your website can see a wide variety of geckos that you breed. I got down a rabbit hole severely. And then I started to try to pick out my favorites.
See?
I did. So how many different types are there, and how many do you specialize in?
Well, there are a lot of different types. So that would take many shows to explain all that, because they're a big group. They're diverse. So, but my favorite is the day gecko from Madagascar called Phelsuma clemera, the neon day gecko.
Ooh,
this is not a big gecko. This is maybe 3.5, 4 inches. But the colors, you can't beat it. The color, and you can't beat the temperament. They're just charming.
And so, do you find that personality-wise, there are certain lines of personality within the different types of...
They all know you as an individual. Mm-hmm. They don't think you're all the same. Mm-hmm. So, if I come walking by, I feed some of them, but I don't feed the other ones, because I have an employee that does that. So the ones that see me, and they're hungry, and they'll be all, hey... Look at me.
Hey, lady.
Look at me.
Over here.
If you're a hungry leopard gecko, they go on their cage.
Right. Oh, I love it.
I'm knocking.
Usually it's they launch themselves with their heads. They're kind of crazy when they're hungry.
Yeah.
Well.
And so how many different varieties do you have there?
Right now I have probably about 45 species.
Wow.
I have bred over 100 different.
Ooh. A lot.
Wow.
Yes. So
cool.
Like I said, I noticed on your website that some of the geckos were listed as unsexed.
Unsexed.
I'm going to say did. Does that mean they were too young to determine, or does it have a different meaning that I'm just not understanding?
No. They're just too young. You can't see their little parts yet.
Okay, because I just didn't know because I don't. Again, I imagined things. So, so the crested geckos on your website had me intrigued. I just like the little
poof,
the little ridges on them that look like it lifted up, but.
They are soft. They look spiky and hard.
Yeah.
They're soft. So the gecko is very soft, and they're popular amongst women and girls. So
the crested ones?
Yeah.
So
it's
I
a
follow
chick pleaser.
suit.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and they call them the furless rabbits.
Oh,
because they also reproduce.
Oh,
really quickly.
Yes.
I just thought that the crest looks like it's spiky and it looks like it's gonna hurt.
No, it's very soft.
That is something else. So I think let's take a moment to do a couple of Martini melodies.
Absolutely.
That Julie has, just to remind our listeners, we do ask our guests way ahead of time to send us a short playlist of 5, 7, 8, 9, whatever, songs that they love to listen to or that mean something to them. So we're going to play a couple from Julie's list, and then we'll get back with her afterward, and then we'll find out what about those songs she loves so much.
Yeah.
Julie, give us a little insight to those two pieces there.
Well, it's my love of driving and maybe going a little faster than the speed limit sometimes. Although as a racer, I don't think street racing or anything like that is cool.
I agree.
But it goes back to also when I got my driver's license in 1978. So I was 16, and I was doing my training at 70 miles per hour on the interstates. And after I got my license, it went down to 55. So I was not happy.
Yeah, I experienced that. When you did your driver's ed, what kind of vehicle were you in? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I was in the parents' VW Squareback.
Okay, so with the driver's driver's testing and driver's ed through school, did they have that program where you drove like the driver's ed car?
Yes.
Do you remember what that one was?
They were usually some kind of boxy K car or something like that.
We had a 4-door Plymouth Fury 3 that was huge. It was as big as this studio, and I'm this tiny little short girl trying to see out of that dash. So yeah. Anyway, Magnolia, what about you? Driver's ed? Do you remember?
We don't discuss that.
You were in a car.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can discuss the first car that I had, but other than that, yeah, driver's ed was not a good scene for me.
That's too funny. All right, so we want to ask you, Julie, about at the Gecko Ranch, what new babies do you have, or what is coming soon?
Well, there's always babies at the Gecko Ranch because some of them go all year, but leopard geckos do not. So they cut off around September. Yeah. But they're going strong right now, so I have a lot of leopard gecko babies. And they come out, they're probably about 4 inches, in size, and they grow really fast. Like in just the first month, they're like double or triple that size.
And what is an adult, what the adult size look like? If they come out 4 inches already, how big do they grow?
Well, it depends on if they're a super giant or not.
Oh,
so if they're a super giant, they're going to be very long, probably 8 inches or more, but that's more of a weight thing too, because measuring is not always cracked up to what it's supposed to be, right? Weight tells you what's really going on.
Gotcha.
So a female supergiant is 70 grams, and a male is over 80. He's like 80 or over. So they grow pretty fast. So in about 3 months, they can be well on their way to being that size, and some actually get to that size in 3 months. But and then there's like normal phase leopard geckos, which I have a ton of because the collection of leopard geckos I have is very old. It was established in 1973, I think.
Wow.
So it's a very old collection, and by Ron Tremper, who is the godfather of leopard geckos, and brought them in to breed in captivity as a pet. So, and one of his friends says, "Hey, you should get leopardgecko.com." He says, "Wow, that's a good idea." And this was way before the internet was popular or anything like that.
Yeah. So, done deal, huh? All right. So, the morning geckos.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so I just made a note that they're pretty unique and very fascinating. What can you share with our listeners about the morning? And to clarify, MOURNING, not morning like I just woke up. So,
yeah, important distinction. But they're parthenogenic, which means they're self-reproducing. So they don't need a male. They're all female, but they have babies. So they're pretty prolific. So there's a lot of them, but they're not very big. They're probably about between 3 and 4 inches maximum with their tail and all that. But people like them. They're tropical and they have different patterns on their back. Like some are from Hawaii, and those look pretty cool. And they kind of have evolved to the areas that they're not native to. Like, they're not native to Hawaii. Hawaii has maybe one native gecko, but there's a lot of them in there that aren't supposed to be there.
So how did the mourning gecko, how long ago was it that someone said, look, it's a girl and she doesn't need a boy to have babies?
Well, pretty long time ago. Pretty long time ago. Like, there's these reptile, herpetology is a study of reptiles and amphibians. So they have their journals, and you can look back in there and you'll be surprised, like 1800s or, it's nothing I have is super new, with it, like within the last century, or except for crested geckos. That's a fascinating story, by the way. So some friends of mine went to New Caledonia, which is a really cool island nation, and the biggest landmass is Australia. So it's tropical. So there are different kinds of New Caledonian geckos. Some bigger crested geckos are kind of a medium-sized one, and they're kind of more chunky than long, and they have that soft skin. It's very cool. So, but when they went there, they were told that these were extinct. And that's hard to believe with all the ones that we see now, right? Yeah. So what happened was it started raining and they all came out.
They were just waiting for water.
That's right. Apparently.
It was a drought.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes, I guess.
So that's one of my favorite reptile gecko stories.
Yeah, there you go.
Here they are.
There they are. So tell us about your book and what is in your book and who your book is written, what your audience is for your...
Well, a very esteemed colleague of mine who's written many gecko and reptile books and published magazines and stuff of a higher quality nature, asked me to do this book. And I said, well, yeah, I'll do it. Even though I was getting LASIK. So that was brave. So it just took a long time because my eyes didn't adjust very quickly. But anyway, so I go through a whole journey with this. It's really a very cool book because you can read about the origins of geckos, like during time and different places in the world. So geckos are usually considered good luck, like the tokay gecko. That goes tokay. That's what they do. Anyway, so they're in Asia. So, but they're real popular pets, and you can tame them. So if you don't, they're gonna bite your hand off.
Oh goodness!
But there are ones that are tamed before they're sold. But they're a pretty cool gecko.
So, I had made a list of some of the geckos that were on your website, and I'm real curious about this barking gecko. What exactly kind of a bark does that gecko have? It's under the thick tails.
I think that's a gecko I don't work with anymore. Okay. But they can make a barking sound. And geckos have voices. That's another thing that makes them unique. Because a lot of lizards can't speak, but they can.
So that would be like the equivalent of a growl or
yeah, like a grunt or something. Yeah. But the day geckos, the giant day geckos, go. They do that,
Just like in the movie. I kid you not. That's what they sound like.
That's exactly what they sound like. It took me many years to get that, perfect.
There you go.
So you can talk to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can pretty much talk back to them. And, the leopard geckos go, kind of like, the babies are hilarious. Baby leopard geckos, they make a noise called the alien scream. It's like,
I love it.
Just like that. It's very disturbing.
I'm sure it is if you have like okay, so what is a batch of babies called? What is it? A murder, a clutch?
A clutch.
It is a clutch.
So it's from bird lore because birds are just flying lizards.
Yeah.
That's how they evolved. But so they lay 2 eggs. So they can be either calcareous, like a chicken egg, or they can be leathery. And so the leathery ones, you incubate a different way than the chicken type ones. But back to the book here. It tells you like all you need to know about. That's how it evolved, is how they evolved to be popular, right? And also what gecko is good for me. So I wrote it from beginner to advanced. Yeah. So if you're a beginner, there's a crested or a leopard gecko is the way to go.
I think that's so cool. I mean, I don't know a lot about geckos. Do you know a lot about geckos? Oh, here's a flip question that's just rolled through my head. Remember when the little commercial Gecko guy, did you guys go, damn it, or did you go, woo-hoo? I mean, did it matter? Well, because you got attention one way or the other.
I did. But people would say, I want the Gecko gecko. I go, he's not real. You can't have him.
He doesn't exist.
But we go, if he did exist, he would be our gecko's ugly cousin.
Oh, that's funny.
Because ours are much prettier than that.
That is so funny.
Goodness gracious.
You never know what popularity is going to occur when something animated comes out and it piques people's interest. So
this other one, the Gargoyle.
Yeah, those are neat. That's a New Caledonian gecko. It's kind of shaped like the crested gecko, kind of chunky. And
Are they big?
No.
See, the pictures on the website kind of...
You can't tell.
You can't tell how big they are.
Yeah, some of them look very scary big.
Yes, they do.
Well, that's one of my favorites because they have 2 primary patterns: a flecked pattern where they have orange-red, and they have a striped pattern. And these are natural variations, but people have bred more red and orange and stuff into them, so they can be really fancy, really very cool looking.
That's neat. All right, so let's see. I had made a sort of a closing comment to say that you've mentioned that you are inspired by what you do and that inspiration feeds itself, which I think is a lovely cycle of self-support. And is there anything else you would like to share with us about the Gecko Ranch? Anything we haven't touched on?
I think it's a good resource for people. It's been there a long time. I've been doing this over 30 years, with the same business. And so for people who want to get into geckos or interested, I say, hey, I don't brag about what I do. My customers tell me how good the geckos are and how happy they are with the geckos. So you can have confidence in me as a guide.
Yeah. Oh, a gecko guide.
Ooh.
A gecko guide. I think I'm going to get you a shirt made.
Gecko guide, yes.
I want to switch gears just a little bit because I've stalked your Facebook page and I have seen pictures of your Jeep and you participating in the Jeeping community. I would love for you to talk to us about your Jeeping adventures.
Oh, gosh.
I see that smile.
So when I was little, I grew up in a Jeep. Like with my grandpa, I went to Colorado for summers, and that is like Jeep USA in the Durango area, San Juan Mountains, Silverton, Durango, and all that. So I was always a passenger in a Jeep. Throughout the years, there was this really old Willys flat fenders mostly, and then they changed into more modern Jeeps and stuff. But so when I got old enough to buy a Jeep and I had a job and a husband and all that, so we got a little Willys Jeep, CJ5. And it took many years to get it going because it needed a lot of work to become 4-wheel drive worthy, and that was in California on the Rubicon, which is, one of the toughest trails in the United States. So after a while, I became a crew person for events and stuff like that, because I kind of knew my way around 4-wheel drive, winching people out of situations. And changing tires and using the high lift jack and all that stuff. But it's a lot of fun, and the camping bit is fun too. I like the Jeep Jamborees. I've been on a lot of those because I'm just not real excited about camping on the ground in a tent.
Age will do that for you.
Definitely.
Full disclosure, dear listeners, Julie and I, we meet for supper every now and then, and we saw each other Friday night, and we were talking about camping versus glamping.
Oh, I'm on the glamping side. I think I've glamped for a while, personally.
My mom used to say that roughing it was when the hotel was out, their ice machine was broken. But we always camped when I was growing up, and as an adult, I camped for many, many years. But now the thought of it, it's just like,
Well, the arrow bed is a good thing, and in those tents they have the net.
Yes.
You can stick one of those flat fans up there, so then you have a ceiling fan.
The last time
Technology.
I camped was a women's music festival in Michigan, and I went with a dear friend to help her. She's a jeweler. I went and helped. I was her helper. And I slept in a tent with the queen-size air bed, and instead of getting up and going for breakfast, I took the little soy milks that you don't have to refrigerate and my cereal, and I would sit in my little tent and eat my breakfast every morning. And then go down for coffee. So, but anyway, I'm sorry. We hijacked that.
We did
because of the glamping and the camping.
Yes, the glamping and the camping. So you mentioned the Rubicon, and that being like one of the hardest trails, which just show the dinginess about. That's the name that's on the Jeep. They have a Jeep that's named
right.
I'm not a Jeep enthusiast, so it didn't connect. Now it connected me.
Ta-da.
So that beginning with the stuff that you did with a Jeep when you were growing up, did that translate over in about the auto racing? Because you need to tell us about that, because I would think it started when you were younger and then kind of just blew up.
Stirred the pot early.
Well, that was another thing I did when I was young. Was I grabbed all the hot rod magazines and all that. I was always buying those along with the 4-wheel drive magazines. So I had a stack of magazines. And then I go, I really need to know how engines work. So I got some HP manuals. And, I'm sure those are online now, and people can teach themselves how a motor works and all that stuff. But I go, okay, now I know how it works. So then I began to do my own, maintenance things. So I could do, change tires, oil, things like that. Change the radiator. One time I was racing, I did car racing in the Camaro Mustang Challenge, which is a NASA, National Autosport Association class. And that's Camaros and Mustangs. And I had an 83 Trans Am that I started out with. And then I had a 94 that I eventually evolved to that because people were evolving out of the older cars, The newer ones could do a little more.
Right.
So I had a lot of fun with that. Lots of, but all the guys think they're Tom Cruise, in the racing.
Right.
So, but yeah, I was one of two female types that were in my group.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to wrap this first hour, and then we're going to hold that thought, and we're going to come right back to it at the 6 o'clock hour. Because, dear listeners, it is time for us to wrap this seriously wrap this one, and then we'll be back right after we wrap. But we hope you'll stay with us for our 6 o'clock hour. I just hit the microphone with my headphone. Doink. I'm okay. It's all right. I'm all right. We hope you'll stay with us for our 6 o'clock hour, which is a hangout plus a stay over. The perfect combination for a hangover. Julie has an opportunity to stick around with us and carry on. and we'll continue playing Martini melodies and more. But thank you, listeners, for tuning in and supporting us. And thank you, Julie. We appreciate you so much for giving us episode 24, Leopard, Skunk, Gargoyle, and more.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's been great. Magnolia, as always, thank you for being my shenanigans partner in crime. Thank you, WCOM, and big thanks to our underwriters. If you would like to become an underwriter for our show or for WCOM's general operations, email us.
WCOMRuby@gmail.com.
All right, all you shakers, join us next week, Monday, the 22nd of June. We will welcome Angie Lynn. Angie will have a conversation about leaving what you know for a new unknown, also known as disconnecting to connect. So, all right, we will see you next week. And until then, all you shakers, keep on shaking.